Welcome back. We're about another 2.5 pounds or so back into this. I'm going by weight just to give you an idea on how much it takes to make one of these. That's the only reason I'm going, as opposed to time frame, I'm giving you weight wise. So far all these videos are within the span of maybe an hour interval, maybe half hour to an hour interval, depending on where I'm getting to as far as the detail. Now I have already poured the control metal, which is just curing right now, and I've got about another 20 minutes or so before it's ready to pop out of the mold. And same thing with the breather unit. I've only got one mold for the breather unit, so I've pretty much got to wait for that to cure up so I can pour another one. Cause I'm pretty much going to use the same ones that I used for Guyver 1. Now if they happen to not look right, I'll just have to make a new one, and not that hard. It's not my first one. Now what I've done is, like anything else, I've watched my spacing. You can see now that the horn is pretty well set in there. And the thing is it's long yet, and while I'm spinning this I do have to be aware of the tip, because it is sharp, and I'm not wearing safety glasses. I'm doing clay, I'm not really worried about it, but I do know how close that is. Like, that's bridge of the nose right there. So, you know, being this far away is completely safe. I know it's there, shy of dunking right into it. I've got no issues. But so you can see here that I've gone ahead and I've set in the half spheres for the Guyver. I've rolled up, you know, a long tube of clay, quarter block of clay, and I've just gone in and blended it in with the helmet to give me the rough shape of where it sits in. Now what I've done also is I haven't trimmed this side, just to show you. I'm only using two tools for this right now. This one here, which is just a wooden tool. It's got a bit of a taper on it. I find these really nice to be able to go in and mark off the area that I need to work with. So I'm just going in, come back down. Now in some cases the clay I haven't set it yet. I've only set it on one side, so it does come off fairly easily. For the other ones, this is where this tool here, round edge on one side, 45 taper on the other. There is two sides to this. One's grooved. You can feel the texture. One's flat. The grooves are handy if you're applying two pieces of clay together. Those grooves will allow for some for compression in between the two, so they'll give you a rougher surface for the clay to adhere to. So this kind of work is pretty easy as far as like what needs to be done. So it's just really nice and quick, and I don't have to be 100% accurate on the lower levels, simply because when I start rolling clay, little strips of clay, like if you're watching this video, you've probably seen my other work, to go in and give it that organic look, like placing them in there. They're going to be covering whatever's underneath, so it doesn't have to be super baby smooth underneath. There's really no need for me to waste time on that. So I'm just getting the big of it out. And you know, after that, then you start smoothing out the sides that you've gouged out a little bit too much. And you can mess with the shapes a little bit more. The one thing you do want a nice clean edge is on the inside ridge. because once those little rolls get in there, it's really delicate work to have to adjust anything, because you don't want to touch them, because you'll create, and it's usually a tool like this that I'm using, you'll create little indentations inside those little strips of clay, and trying to rub them out, it's kind of tough because they're overlapping. So if you're putting pressure on one, you're putting pressure on two, 3 or 4, which kind of messes it up a bit. So you do want to have a nice clean edge before you even start this stuff. And when I get to that, I usually end up using my spray bottle of water, a couple sprays, and I'll go in and just that helps me glide along the clay, nice and smooth, really easy. In some cases I'll just pop these plastic things in because I've already got my spacing done for it. And that's essentially what these are for right now, is just for the accurate spacing. So I can pop these out. They come right out. Take a cloth, get the clay off of them, and then I can just go in and smooth everything out. Once that's done and I'm happy with it, I can just slide them in nice and easy, pop them back in, and then start my work. I'll come back next one with yeah, in about 15 minutes or so I'll be able to come back with the control metal, and I'll be able to see if the breather unit's too big. I think it's gonna be, because I think it's just too wide because they're much smaller on the Valkyrie Guyver. But we'll see. If I have to make another one, I have to make another one. No big deal. It's all about accuracy and pride. So you've got up to here. We'll catch you on the next one. I usually leave the horn till the very end, because I don't want to have to be bothered with doing any work down here, and I can concentrate everything up here, getting this shape done properly.